Hi and welcome everyone. It's Jennifer Britton and I'm excited to be back for another hot topic call. It is officially April 2026 and our first of several hot topic calls over the next 3 to 6 months is no surprise all about AI and group and team coaching. I've called this one augmenting capacity in the future of work because from the time I last did a hot topic call last fall until now, I think we'd all agree the world is continuing to change. Our work, our roles, our needs, and the inputs are also continuing to change. So many of you know me through the banner of Group Coaching Essentials. We celebrate 20 years of training and supporting not only coaches, but organizations who are integrating group coaching as one of their many development methodologies. Well, when I launched that program in January of 2006, to now, the world has really changed. And that's meant that we continue to change as well. This, in fact, is the third call I've done on AI and group and team coaching in the last few years. And I have been running the AI empowered coach and solopreneur program for more than a year now. It joins FlowFlex Scale as a entrepreneurial support vehicle. And I say vehicle because FlowFlex Scale is not just a program, it's an operating system to support individual and micro business owners, probably like yourself, to continue to get momentum and traction in today's ongoing changing landscape. So let's dive into this. We are looking today at AI. I hope that you're going to leave with some ideas, really to think about how to augment your capacity. So this is the third in a series of hot topic calls. I went back to figure out when else have I talked about this. If you go right back to October of 2023, I did a community call on AI and group and team coaching. I want to invite you to do that. 60 people have watched it over the last 2 years, but I think it's really interesting as you hear me speak about this. And I would say in my upcoming writing around coaching in the future of work and FlowFlex Scale, you're going to see how much this is really embedded in the work that we do here at Potentials Realized in support of our team and organizational partners and our coaching work with solopreneurs. We really continue to embrace technology and the world is continuing to change. AI is integrated in so many pieces of fabric. It's very common for solopreneurs to continue to come to us and say, listen, I haven't jumped on the AI bandwagon. Can you help us? And so, yes, that is the purpose of our AI empowered coach and solopreneur booster days, which, as you'll hear, I'm hosting another one in the next few weeks. Now, we've also tackled this at the Coaching Many podcast, and you can check out episode 21 from earlier in 2025 and our more recent episode of episode 41 called Group and Team Coaching in the Age of AI, Staying Connected, Staying Ethical, and Staying Effective. And that really reflects a lot of the work that I'm doing right now with teams, seeing how much AI is embedded with the teams that I partner with. We're also hearing it in the landscape of group coaching essentials and what coaches are coming for. So with that, I am bringing some AI prompts. Now, we continue to offer our ICF CCE approved training, mentor coaching, and supervision. I just wanted to share this with you. We've got on March the 10th, Group Coaching Essentials and our advanced practicum starting for the spring. The practicum will not run again probably until we'll do one more in summer and one more in fall. Group Coaching Essentials, we will offer one more in May and then likely in September. I'm excited because we've just kicked off FlowFlex Scale, our business lab, and that is a 90-day program which you can join us for. It's geared for solopreneurs who really want to get that momentum and have weekly accountability. We start the week with our Monday planning calls, wrap up the week with Friday coaching. And from now moving into our third quarterly cohort, really am seeing how transformative this program is. It not only helps coaches and solopreneurs, service-based professionals move ahead in the 3 months, but most importantly, it helps people get new practices and habits. And I think in today's world of ongoing change, that speaks volumes. So you can learn more about that. Our website of flowflexscale.com is coming up soon, and you can reach out to me because you can join us, not even if you've missed the April 1st deadline, you can start any day of the week and join us for that in 3 months, 90 days, which works out to a little bit more than 12 weeks. Coming up and related to today's topic, we've got an AI Booster Day happening on April 15th from 1 to 5 p.m. I'm going to just say a little bit about that in the context of this program and this call today, because it really is about helping you embed and work with AI in three main parts of your business. We're not only going to just talk about content, we're also going to talk about programming, and we're going to look at your workflows. And as we talk today, if you go back and listen to my 2025 call, I was starting to talk a little bit about agentic AI. Certainly, we're well in the agentic era right now, and I'll describe what that is. I'm committed to doing the booster days at least once a month. And so if you stay tuned at our groupcoachingessentials.ca website, groupcoachingessentials.ca website are the most up-to-date links. You will find our upcoming booster days, as well as the fun work that we've been doing at the Experiential Roadshow, which is all about creating human-centered experiential programming. I've got the Make It Visual retreat, micro retreat day coming up on Sunday. That's the 26th of April from 1 to 4 p.m. You might think Sunday, what? But I am finding people's focus and availability has definitely shifted in today's world of AI. And in that Make It Visual Day, we're going to be looking at a variety of visual tools that you can be using in your work. So, big question I think that we're hearing in all spaces, from coaches, from organizations, at the community level, even at the global level, is AI a threat or a tool? I really want to use the reframe that we're holding here at Potentials Realized, which is AI is a cognitive amplifier. The coach will not be replaced, at least in a collaborative space of group and team coaching. Because really our work in the group and team coaching sphere is really as a relational and experiential architect. I'm going to say that again. Our work as group and team coaches, coaches of many, is as a relational and experiential architect. If you've been listening to me, following me for the last couple of years, you'll know how much my work continues to evolve. As I said, I've got a couple of new books coming out in this next 8 to 12 months, even less than that. And really, we're looking a lot more at this notion of coach being an architect, working and partnering with clients to build the structures and systems that can flex and grow, or as we say, flow, flex, and scale in an ever-changing world. AI is definitely, if you want to look at it in some ways, AI is changing the landscape of coaching dramatically. Recently, some of you may have been at the coaching.com AI demo day. Certainly, there are some amazing, amazing tools out there. And for a couple of years now, I've been following along at the AI and Digital Coaches conferences. We know that AI has disrupted already one-on-one coaching. Now, that's one perspective. I think there's another perspective of it changes the work of the coach. One of the reasons I came to coaching 24 years ago was to make sure that our work was stickier, that the goals and the actions and the insights that my clients wanted and came to coaching for could actually be amplified. And I really do see now in 2026 that AI can be an amazing partner for our clients, not only for us. Coaching really has never been about expertise. It is about really activating our presence, deepening the space of inquiry, deepening the space of pause and reflection, and designing powerful conversations. It is, in my landscape, has always been about the collective, the collaborative. It's been about really spending time leaning in with others, with other humans in a group context, and maybe in a team context, leaning in with your team and or also AI agents. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the agentic work that I'm seeing in the team coaching context. No doubt, coaching is changing. I don't think it's being replaced, though. It is evolving in terms of what is needed now in the world. And so some of the shifts we're seeing, at least in spring of 2026, and I would hazard a guess that this is going to continue to change. We are moving from lack of information to overload of information. As I've been sharing recently, things like brain fry are real elements. We're moving from that individual era of work to collective intelligence. We're moving from static skills to dynamic capacity. Notice that one, static skills, moment by moment skills to dynamic capacity. If you're going to follow me, you're going to hear my work and really my speaking a lot more around this notion of capacity, which is broader than just skills. It's also about massive shifts happening right now in the world of work. Many large organizations have replaced or let go of their middle managers. We are now seeing what I've been talking about for more than a decade, where everyone in today's workforce needs skills. It's not just a leader. Everyone on team needs skills. And we're seeing how elements that used to be seen as quite radical, like holacracy, actually becoming commonplace. I find it really hard to believe that it's been 5 years since Reconnecting Workspaces came out. In that, you'll really see, even 5 years ago, how much, in the work that we do, I do, is in a new work landscape. Today, spring 2026, we have massive global and geopolitical and economic issues on the table. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think we're really going to continue to see real need and real pressure for continuing to shift the way we work. We may see, and we're already seeing this in parts of the world, the return to a lot of hybrid work, to even work from home. And let's see how that plays out in the coming months. Now, what can AI do? AI can help us. We can be working differently. We can be focusing differently with the resourcing we have. Now, coaching capacity, again, is not just a skill set. It's about developing skills and capacities in relationships, in creativity, in generative spaces. And coaching capacity, which is really a partnership with the teams that we work with, helps them navigate complexity, helps them read their terrain. And context can be radically different as we're continuing to see from location A to location B, even in the same country. Teams need to continue to navigate complexity. And that means, as a coach, we may not always be there. So, how do we really continue to look to empower the team to draw on the resources that they need? And some teams, like I'm sure many of you are experiencing this with the teams that you work with, some teams are getting really savvy and saying, you know what, we are adopting AI in multiple ways. Some of you have heard, if you've been with us in our ICF CCE approved programming, which is a 70-hour pathway to the ACTC. It is really quite exciting for me to weekly share different insights from organizations right now because things are changing so quickly. And I've been working with a team for more than a year now, and really they are AI adoptees. They are not a tech company, but they really have looked at how to be strategic in growing their span of control. I also, with my other leg, have been so privileged to be working with so many solopreneurs and small business owners who are realizing and recognizing that, you know what? 7 and 8 figure businesses are not out of reach. If we can really activate Claude, if we can be activating a chat GPT in the agentic space, it can actually exponentially help a one person business grow in ways that even 6 months ago was no longer possible. And so if you're excited about that, I really want you to stay tuned with Flow Flex Scale, which, all going well, will be coming out in July of this year, late July, early August. And if you've joined us recently for our 5-day challenges, just last month I did the Business Reset Challenge, which you can check out, the 5-day Business Reset Challenge. You can find that over at YouTube. Business is changing so rapidly, and we need to. It's not a have to, it's a need to continue to change in so many different ways. The growth of solopreneurism is massive. And I would assert that even solopreneurs need to grow not only skills, but capacities and grow their team, even though the team may not necessarily be human. So that's what today's conversation is. AI can excel at so many different things. It can be a wonderful thinking partner, may not always lead us down the right path. And that's where human skills and discernment come in. But AI is amazing in looking at patterns. It's a reflection tool. And earlier this year, maybe it was last fall, I was at this year's or last year's um, focus on the IDGs, the Inner Development Goals, which is a global framework. And in the room with us as a conference attendee and partner was AI. Someone from the audience asked AI to describe who and what they were. The response from the AI partner, whose name was River, was quite profound. They reminded all of us as attendees, whether we were virtual or physical in the room, that they are a reflective tool. They reflect what it is seeing and being fed. And that's where things like pattern recognition has not always been a skill set that's been honed by human beings. I say that though, as someone who has always excelled in work in complex environments because of my skills in pattern recognition. Every time I had a debrief, right, or a formal evaluation process as an employee in my early career, it would always come up, Jen, you are amazing at recognizing patterns. How do you do that? And whether part of it was just part skill and strength, but part honed because I've always had to work in very complex environments. So if that's not been your world, this is really a space where AI partnership can be of value if, again, we use that skill of discernment. This is the thing. We don't want to just throw ourselves into something that may or may not have context, really always important, but it may help us really create, again, a counterpoint to how we are seeing and relating in the world. So AI excels in pattern recognition, speed, and synthesis. It's great for harvesting good amounts of data, but again, we have to check that. We, however, as humans, will always continue to lead in trust, in meaning, and in understanding the context. And again, context is key. If you go back to, the 6 layers of connection, how do we create that? One of the layers is context. And in today's global world, in today's sometimes very disparate world, we need to understand what is the different context we're all sitting within. You're increasingly going to be hearing me talk about an AI coaching capacity model where it really is about helping people think together, think differently. AI can help augment thinking. Again, help us see different perspectives. There may be bias in the system, and we can call that out. We may also invite our AI partners to strategically have a counterbalance. Do a pressure test. You might have heard me say that term before. We're seeing amazing ways how AI is becoming an augmenter in terms of design. Human design, AI design, designing experiences. We're certainly seeing in the work that we do with coaches, many of you are going to AI to do your brainstorming. I would, however, really recommend that you also think about how does this connect with you, right? We are there to read in the moment. So from a design standpoint, this may give you some anchors, but it's not going to fill the whole map or terrain. Now, in a world of connection, where connection is needed on a human level, on a relational level, we will always lead with that. Where AI might be an interesting partner is to help connect the dots on things. Again, we have immense cognitive biases. And so, how are we also using AI as a strategic thinking partner in terms of maybe shadowing or bringing information that we might not never have seen or had access to? It really means that learning and what learning means is radically and rapidly changing. Finally, in the coaching capacity model, it's not enough to know something. It really is about activating things. Most of my clients come to me, come to us because they want that human in the loop, as we say in the CX world, CX being customer experience design, but it really is about activating capability. It's about putting ideas into practice. And I would say coaching is still the space for people to articulate, not just think about, but articulate what they want. Think about your recent coaching conversations. My guess is you're hearing what I'm hearing a lot. Jen, this was invaluable. Had I not spent the 30 minutes, the hour with you, I would have never come to this insight. I would have never said it. So notice that I would have never said it. Coaching in that way, I think will never be replaced, even in a one-on-one space. So while AI can help us think faster, coaching helps us move differently, and I would assert even better, however you want to frame what better means. And again, we're going back to our clients to really look at what better means to them. Now, want to really reference what has shifted so dramatically. And I make reference to this in some of our recent Coaching Many podcast episodes, AI in the agentic era, right? What does agentic era mean? If you haven't heard of it, AI agents. And those are embedded in most or many of the AI platforms, Claude, ChatGPT, and it can really change the way you do your workflows. Now, what is interesting, and even this week, some shifts have happened as more and more people jump on this notion of having agents doing the work. And so an agent might be writing your copy, an AI might be scheduling your emails, an AI might be going in, and if they have access, reviewing your documentation. There's a couple of issues at play here, a number of issues for consideration: security, confidentiality, and not only is it accurate, but is it doing it in the way that you want, right? Now, again, looking at the teams that I work with in larger organizations, some have become very AI enabled. They have AI agents. Some have paused because as they've gone down the road with that, they've realized with all the different combiners, there are massive security impacts and implications. So I would just spotlight that. There may also be cost implications. One of the things that happened 2 days ago, and I'm recording this just after Easter weekend in April, early April 2026. It is April the 7th, 8th. And what has happened is yesterday, I think maybe it was, Claude has slammed on the brakes. If you want to access certain things, you need to pay more. Again, revenue resourcing, it drives every business. Will you be able to access as a small business the services that you've come dependent on at a price you can afford? There's not only a financial cost, but there is also an environmental cost. And as an environmentalist by training, I continue to keep an eye on what is really happening with the massive climate impact from AI. Many of you have heard about sort of the AI hubs. They're called many different things in different areas, but there is massive energy that is used every time we even generate a image. So keep that in mind. So I thought it might be interesting if we actually do some work here. So with this, I want you to really think about what's a team or a group you're working with and what is one challenge they're facing. Bring to mind a group. Maybe you're working with business owners or solopreneurs like I do, or maybe you're working with a team. And I'm curious, what is the one challenge they're facing? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into our AI, whatever you choose to use. I am going to work with chat. So I'm going to work with our chat. I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. Okay, and you can actually see lots of different things here. So let me bring this up. I'm going to go back to our slide. So I'll go back to the slide to finish this out. So again, think of that team or group. What is one challenge they're facing? For example, I'm going to use solopreneurs. One of the challenges they are facing is certainly finding business in a world where everyone is an expert. So here's the prompt. We're going to use a very basic prompt. Act as a group or team coach. You get to choose. Working with, fill in the blank, generate 5 underlying issues, and 5 coaching questions that I might ask. So, again, act as a group or team coach. You choose working with blank, generate 5 underlying issues, 5 coaching questions. I am going to just stop my share. I'm going to go over to chat, bring that up. You might be using Claude or something else. Let's see if I can get back to my chat. Here we go. Share. So I think I recall it. Act as a group coach working with solopreneurs. Identify 5 issues they are facing. And just part 2 to this. Let me go back. This part 2 is 5 coaching questions I might leverage. And 5 coaching questions I might leverage. So let me stop my share. I think you're still on the screen, but just in case you aren't. Okay, so identify the 5 issues they're facing, and as you'll see, 5 coaching questions we might explore. Now, your answer is going to be different. I would even invite you to try this prompt. Again, our AI grows with what we are doing. And so here's my AI. Absolutely. Let's take group coaching lens grounded in the reality solopreneurs are navigating right now: complexity, AI disruption, visibility pressure, and the need for sustainable momentum. Here are 5 common issues and 5 coaching questions to open up meaningful exploration. Note that mine is trained because I am a coach, and so it is trained on really stepping into that. So 5 issues: lack of focus amid too many ideas. Again, as back to that notion of brain fry, multiple offers, multiple directions. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Someone, and I think this was Lou Bortone, came across my feed yesterday. FOBO, not FOMO, but FOBO. So fear of missing out is now being replaced by fear of really having too many offers, right? And what happens is when we have too many options, because again, you've got 5 issues. Which one do I go down? What's the pathway to go down? It can lead to diluted energy and stalled progress. That's not only significant for a team, but if you're a solopreneur, a one-person show, think about how much time is being spent in the rabbit holes of your work. I would challenge you to take some time and actually start to log how much time you're focusing on. Second issue, inconsistent revenue and visibility. Income and client flow feel unpredictable, often tied to inconsistent outreach or unclear messaging. Again, consistency is key, especially in an era where we not only have changes in algorithm, changes in where people are going, but let's talk about the other elephant in the room: SEO to AEO. And we talk about this at FlowFlex Scale. Again, soloprenarial skills are changing, and I'm really excited in the upcoming FlowFlex Scale book to really be bringing you some new ideas to be thinking about to help you move ahead. Number 3, hearing this a lot: overwhelmed with tools, AI, technology. They know tools could help, but feel behind, scattered, or unsure where to start. And that's why our AI booster days are still so valuable. We've had seasoned coaches coming who have just not jumped on the bandwagon around AI yet. And they found that the 4 hours we spend on a day is valuable. So check it out. It's the AI booster day. I'm doing another one a week Wednesday, April 15th from 1 to 5 p.m. We go through facilitated prompts. We work together. We move through your needs, whether it is really starting up or whether it is accelerating. Isolation and decision fatigue. Without a team or a sounding board, everything rests on a solopreneur, leading to second guessing and slower decisions. This is a big one. And maybe misalignment between strengths in the business model or strengths in what's needed as a solopreneur. Solopreneurs are a one-person show, right? We are having to do everything. So they may be working hard, but not always in ways that align with their natural strengths, energy, or desired lifestyle. So here's some 5 coaching questions to explore. On focus, if everything you're doing right now is stripped away, what is the offer or conversation that would matter most over the next 30 days? Great question. And what matters most? Is it connection? Is it impact? Is it What is it? Our motivation. We need to go back to that. On revenue momentum, where's your next dollar most likely to come from? And what conversation would move that forward this week? Is what is bringing you in revenue right now the same as what was bringing you in revenue 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? Probably not. On AI and tools, what is one task that you repeat weekly that could be simplified, automated, or augmented? And what would that free up for you? That's a big question, right? How much time are we spending on things? On isolation and support. And this is an interesting question coming from an AI, but this is very much a human need. Where do you need another perspective right now? And who would you invite into that conversation? I would even go one step further, right? In saying, what support do you need from others? How can other humans support your insights and abilities to move? On alignment and sustainability, what parts of your business give you energy and how might you design the next month to include more of that? So as a group coach, and my AI is well trained, I'd also layer in a collective dimension. Invite participants to share patterns they're noticing, right? If you're a group coach, you're getting everyone to zoom in. Maybe you pick one of these as a group to look at. Maybe you give time for everyone to reflect on these. What is the conversation that needs to happen? Is it the same thing? Are you asking everyone to respond to a prompt like one thing I'm overcomplicating is? There could also be great peer accountability and support. So, yes, it could turn it into a facilitator guide, a 60-minute group coaching session flow. Here's the thing though, group coaching needs to be created in the moment. So I'd invite you to have something like this in your back pocket. Maybe you know that the group itself has said, we're overwhelmed with too many ideas. So that may be the doorway you're going in, and this might be some of the questions you bring. We can't do it all, and our clients are the ones that we always want to focus on. So I hope that you found this useful, whether you were using chat, whether you were using Claude, Perplexity. We continue to hear that people are using all different things. And so always on reflection, what suggestions fit? When you look at what your AI has fed you, what fits? What doesn't fit? What might invite you to have another perspective? What's missing? There's going to be something missing. There's going to be great holes. Again, when I look at what came back, we didn't talk about the massive amounts of time and cognitive overload that people, especially solopreneurs, are finding. That to me is at the heart of the matter. And that's a human conversation. It's not about driving in and dumping into another AI spiral of death. So I want to invite you to use AI as a tool, as maybe a partner, but certainly as a provocateur. So I want to invite you to think about, what would you ask? How would you ask it? AI can be a great partner. It can really help us in so many different fashions where we can then add the human element of creativity, discernment, intentionality. We continue to hear coaches using it for session design, generating questions, using summaries of debriefs, content creation, reflection, and iteration. Now, big one on this, even in debrief summaries, how is it getting that information? From an ethics perspective, we want to be really careful on where and how we're using AI. So think about that as you go. Couple of things to really be noticing around boundaries. You're not going to outsource your presence. I continue to see in our Activate Your Group and Team Coaching Superpowers programming that this is really eye-opening for mature coaches, thinking about how they need to expand their range. AI might give us one path, but we've got to continue to widen the path for the variety of people we're working with. We don't want to outsource ethics. And if any of you have been with me in mentor coaching, you'll know how important and how much time we're spending on ethics. ICF has evolved a lot of great resources, but we really need to be clear. What does it mean as a group coach? What does it mean as a team coach in an agentic AI era? Simple questions like, who is the team, right? And this is a question for the team. Who is the team? And how does the team perceive the AI agent? Well, I may not be bringing in my AI, and I never do because it's my AI, not a team's AI. the team may want to involve that agent. The team will maybe be recording calls. That's their data. It's not my data. So you need to be very clear on the boundaries because ethically, with our confidentiality, things can really get in a very significant gray zone. We also want to think about our relationships, right? We aren't going to outsource our relational fabric. And I think the more time we spend, and I'm in that top 1% of user of ChatGPT at the end of 2025, I would say we realize how important relationships are. AI can replace so much, but they can't replace relationships. And in a world of change, in a world of complexity, in a world of division, sometimes you want to make sure you have friends everywhere. Finally, be transparent about AI use. How are you using it? What parts of the business? I think this is something that you want to be very, very clear on. If you saw the invite to today's call, you would notice my note around we do not allow AI note takers into the room. Because what is happening with that information? Well, once I put this out on YouTube, it's fair game, but I know that I own it, and so want to respect privacy as we go. So, really want to leave you with this final idea. The future is not AI versus humans. It is AI plus human capacity. And I'm going to be really excited to bring to you these two new bodies of work in the next year, FlowFlex Scale, which is geared for solopreneurs, and also the future of coaching and looking at how coaching and change are really radically changing in the world of work. So, with that, thank you for joining us. I hope that you'll consider joining us for an upcoming AI Booster Day. If you can't make April 11th, there'll be dates in May and June. I usually do one day a week. If you're looking at creating a very human experience, then maybe consider joining us on Sunday, the last Sunday of April, from 1 to 3 for the visual. Make it visual because as much as the world gets complicated, there's something very powerful in drawing together, in working together. And I'm going to be taking you through some very visual processes. You've seen some of them, but there's many more that you're going to be able to use in your work with your teams, your individuals, and your groups. So with that, I will see you soon. And thanks for joining us. Next hot topic call will happen on the 21st. And so if you go back to two places, facebook.com/effective group coach, or if you go over to LinkedIn and follow me, Jennifer J. Britton, you will see the different programming options. All right, well, spring is trying to spring here. I hope it is for you. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to doing 3 calls this month and getting back on board with these. We are just wrapping up season 2 of the Coaching Many podcast. We're going to take a hiatus and come back with a different format in season 3. So stay tuned. And if you haven't followed along lately, we're wrapping up that series on presence. You can also hear about AI and coaching in one of our updated or more recent episodes. I think that was 42. Coming up, I'm really excited looking at some pretty provocative areas as we get to episodes 50 through 52. All right, everyone, take care.